All right, we are back. Welcome back to Arrowhead PM. Sorry for the reschedulement there, but we had to take up that primetime slot on Monday night. You know how it goes. So,
Right.
welcome back. This is the third and final episode of AFC West Rivals with special guest Whitville here. He's a big Raiders fan. I love listening to this guy talking Raider spaces, just in spaces in general on X. So I knew he was going to be the top guy that we'd bring on here. So, welcome, Whit. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad to be here talking to
Yeah.
y'all, man.
We're gonna get right into it, talking about the Raiders, and we'll get into their off season, the free agency, and their draft, and what he thinks that they're gonna do. So stick around. We'll see you on the other side. Maybe if I can find my stuff. Oh, there it is. It's been a minute. All right, we're back. Corey, to my right, over here. Look, I got it right. Oh my gosh, I pointed it the right way. We got DG down there below Corey. Then we got Whit here, big Raiders fan. So we're gonna start off with the blunt obvious here. How did it feel to see the Kansas City Chiefs win a Super Bowl at your home facility, in your home locker room, on your home practice field?
And pop champagne in the locker.
And
Hey,
cigars. Don't forget the cigars.
look, hey, Usher had a hell of a halftime performance. You know, the city of Las Vegas was covered in NFL logo,
Right.
put in Allegiant Stadium. I think everybody was happy. I made money, NFL made money, and y'all got a Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't win in that situation. Like, it was the Chiefs and it was the 49ers. Like, I couldn't win. So,
Right.
so
Who did you root for?
I didn't root for nobody.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
rooted for my parlay.
There you go.
Right.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Go for the parlay.
You rooted for Las Vegas to get more money. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, well, we appreciate you being such a lovely host to the Chiefs, man. That was a unique moment, and that's just going to add to the rivalry that we have with the Raiders. It's going to be talked about forever. So, I mean, we still remember back when you guys beat us and you did the ring around the Rosie the Chiefs Stadium. So maybe that was a little bit of a payback. But anyway, so we're going to get right into this, man. How did you see the free agency start with the Raiders? Just kind of give us your thought, like who left, who came in, who was the guys that you liked that came in, who did you not see leaving that left? Just give us a rundown of your free agency.
So, Antonio Pierce, he was under Josh McDaniels and Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham hired as linebacker coach. And with the outlook of the roster, you see in every coaching regime and any team, they like to bring in guys who are familiar with the system on the offense, defense side. So you had the Patriot mentality, the Patriot way coming from McDaniels and Ziegler. So they're bringing in guys like Brandon Bolden, they bring in the Jimmy Garoppolo, they bring in Adam Butler, like guys like that have been the Patriots, are familiar with the system, familiar with the coordinators. They bring them in, and the thing about it is that you can build your roster all you want to, but you have to address the number one position, which is the quarterback position. And last year, it was speculation of C.J. Stroud wants to play for the Raiders. The Raiders can trade up and get CJ, get Bryce, get anybody, Will Levis. And the thing about it is that we didn't trade up for a quarterback. We settled for getting D lineman, which we desperately needed. Max Crosby needs some help. That defense needs some help. But the ultimate plan was to get a quarterback. So this year, you had some guys like Jermaine Illuminor, right tackle. You had some guys like Amik Robertson, the corner. That was one of the guys I wanted to bring back. You had some guys, especially on the offensive line side, that were like unrestricted free agents, 1-2 year deals or restricted free agents that were going. So I think going to this year, I'm kind of excited because you have a regime. It was like a different feeling. Going from McDaniels to Antonio Pierce, like a different spark in the locker room. We had the fans were buying in. I mean, you had fans. I mean, we were yelling every week, man, fire McDaniels, like fire Ziegler. Like, we just wanted some change, like, because we know the standard that we can be and we see the potential in the team. But when it's not showing forth on the field, that's a disappointment to as a fan. So, AP comes in 9 weeks, goes 5-4. I mean, he had some games that could have won, like that Vikings game, 3-0. They couldn't score no points, and then you had Dolphins game that you could have won. But those things lead up to getting the quarterback in this year. So going into the off season this year with a new coach, new GM. The thing about it was with Mark Davis, he wanted to get some experience in the front office. The past two regimes, you had a rookie GM and you had a rookie coach or a coach that came back like a John Gruden. And the thing about it is that Mark Davis is tired of going through the same cycle of getting GMs, getting coaches, and it's not working out. You're not getting the
Mhm.
product that he wants on the field. So, uh, you hire a rookie coach, but then you hire experienced GM. Now, it was a curveball we didn't expect to get Tom Telesco at. He just got fired a month ago from the Chargers. But,
Right.
I mean, he wants some experience. He started doing the same thing. So, I mean, it's all season, with aggressive coach, aggressive mindset. AP's trying to go get it. I mean, you had the Cliff Kingsbury fiasco. I mean, you hired him and then get to the contract situation that doesn't work out. Now he goes to the Commanders. So
Mhm.
that had us thinking like, okay, so Cliff signed for 3 years to the Commanders. So, you're not going to give more years than a head coach. So a head coach might have signed for 2 years. So the thing about it with AP is he's in the win now mode. He's
Oh
trying to
yeah.
win now. Yeah. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time. He's on a short leash because people basically put Mark Davis in the corner and said, you better hire this guy. Or like you saw Max Crosby said, if you don't
Mhm.
hire AP, I'm requesting a trade.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I do like the AP hire though. I mean, seems like he's going to be the coach that is the head coach and let the coordinators do their job.
right.
And I think that's a successful formula there, especially with his lack of experience. He's a motivator. He's
Yeah.
definitely a motivator, and the players like him. If he can just get the right coordinators and coordinators do their job, and he just grows in that position as being the head coach in the moment, I think he did a great job last year. I mean, that's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
With you saying short leash, like how long would you? I know from going from interim to now being hired as a full time head coach can be a little bit of a difficult transition. How much grace are you willing to give Antonio Pierce within what these next couple years? How long did he sign for, or is he?
I mean, we don't really know
Mm,
the ins and justs of
mm,
the ins and outs as far as these coaching contracts because they don't come
yeah,
out really. But you just had to like think or speculate. The Kingsbury thing fell through, and I guess he wanted some more years on his contract, or it just didn't line up. Then he goes
right.
to Washington, signs 3 years. So you got to think, with an interim coach only being coaching 18 months in
Mm,
the NFL, as a positional coach going to a head coach, you have to think that he's probably getting like a 2 year, 3 year prove it.
right.
So my thing is that he's in the win now mode. He's trying to be aggressive, and I think as far as the leash, the first thing order of business is addressing the quarterback position. Now you had Aiden O'Connell. You have people saying, yeah, roll Aiden O'Connell. I mean, he's a 4th round quarterback that you got in your commissary pick. Um, and then you bring in Gardner Minshew. You saw what he did in Indianapolis. He's had a solid career being a bridge quarterback, being a starter, but that's just not getting it done with the AFC and also in the AFC West with Mahomes and then Herbert as of right now. And and he had Russell Wilson's and Joe Burrows and all that stuff. I mean, the list goes on in the AFC, but you got to address the quarterback position. I think if he does that, then it's looking up for him. But if they fail to do that, then it's not looking good.
Right.
Yeah, the track record isn't for coaches when it comes to success rate in the NFL. So I think that he's on a little bit of a shorter leash, or he may feel that he is.
Right.
And like I said, I don't really think he was Mark Davis's first choice. I think that he may have felt like Davis was pressured into signing him. So he's got to prove himself now. He's got to prove that, hey, I'm not just that stopgap coach to get to the next big hire. I'm the guy for this job.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we were kind of thinking. I mean, we knew AP should have been. He deserved to get a head coach opportunity. He deserved to get an interview, but after everything transpired, we learned that AP was a choice from the jump, but the holdup was it was going to be the GM, and I mean, you kind of saw signs of AP being a coach because they bring in Leslie Frazier for a head coaching interview, and then they brought in Ken Richard that hasn't coached in like a year or two. So you bring those two in guys that are filling the Rooney Rule, and then you hire your head coach, and then you hire your GM. So I think regardless though, I think Mark Davis probably wanted the process. Like he probably wanted to bring in variables. He probably wanted to bring in other guys like a Pete Carroll or Belichick or somebody like that. Just to interview and pick their brain, to help them out with the process. But when you're saying you have your fan base, you having your Hall of Fame alumni, you having the media and fans saying AP better get hired. I mean, it kind of puts you in the corner, but it's telling you like AP, you gotta give me some results.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think the results last year had more to do with just the instability of quarterback? Because you guys were playing some good ball on both sides of the ball. I mean,
yeah, especially defensively.
Yeah,
I say coaching plays a big part, but also the defense outside of going into that ending that 22 season, going to the 23 season, the defense was playing some good ball. But after that week 3 Buffalo loss, that's when the defense picked up and they were playing lights out, but it didn't change until McDaniels left. So we saw the change from it when McDaniels was there to when AP was coaching that first game against the Giants, and we beat them like 6-38 or something like that. So I think as far as this addressing the quarterback situation is the other part that plays into our inability to score and also get more wins on the win column. I mean, you're trying out there with Jimmy G, and then after Jimmy G, you have Brian Hoyer, and then after that, you have a 4th round Aiden O'Connell that has no mobility. So,
right
now watching last season, I kind of got this feeling. Tell me if you got the same feeling when McDaniels was still the head coach. It felt like a lot of the players were mentally checked out, like they weren't there anything to do with McDaniels, and they kind of felt like they just gave lackluster performances. Like they were like, "Hey, we're not going to play until he's gone."
Yeah, I mean, guys are checked out. I mean, you would think the second time around, your first time as a head coach, you were young, you learned from it, and second time around it'll be better. But you saw him still having the same tendencies as his first time around being a head coach, trying to pull from the Belichick playbook of being a coach, trying to be somebody else that he's not, and then also just not being able to relate to players. And guys want to get paid. They want to play in the NFL. That's a dream, but they also want to win. They're competitors. So when you don't have that buy-in from the players, it's kind of hard to produce something on the field that you have in practice. Like you practice and film and everything like that. So
yeah, I say this about McDaniels. I say it about every coach leaving that tree. that Belichick kind of guide to football that he had in New England is not a very good thing to try to replicate
Yeah.
because for the seed, you have to have a Tom Brady who can fit those tight window throws, those quick hitters, those slants, and be accurate almost every pass. You've got to have a solid defense with solid cornerbacks and good linebacking core. And the key to all of that, though, is having a Tom Brady for that succeed. You saw how well it worked for Belichick once Brady left.
They
That's a very
thought
hard time.
they thought they had that in Jimmy.
Hey, and that's why they're not employed.
Oh man, speaking of the quarterback situation, man. You guys bring in a guy like Gardner Minshew, who we all kind of seen has been, I guess, somewhat you could say of a journeyman, in this league so far. What are your expectations of him? I know you guys probably still expect to go quarterback in the draft, but what do you expect for him coming in for the next 2 years? I believe.
Hold on, my bad. For that quarterback coming in for the draft,
For,
or we
for
have
like, just do you expect him to start? Do you expect him to
He's like,
be a
Gardner better
mentor?
not be my starter.
Right?
Gardner. I think they're going to compete. I mean, yeah, Aiden, yeah, Gardner right now on the roster. I mean, Aiden right now is a presumable starter. I mean, because he's the only quarterback from last year still on the roster. But we saw what Gardner can do. I mean, we've seen him in 6-7 years playing in the league. What he can do. So it'll be a quarterback battle. I would see it. I could see it as if you start Gardner for like a couple games, and then you bring in your rookie quarterback like a Penix or who else we might draft. But it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's nothing's going to be given to nobody. So they're going to be battling through training camp and OTAs and preseason, and we'll see who's going to be the week one starter.
They gave him a 2-year contract.
Yeah, 2 year, 25.
Okay, 25.
That's what was making me think like maybe they were bringing him in to kind of be a mentor to whoever they
Right.
draft,
Right.
pretty much. Is was the sense the vibes you was kind of getting when they made that sign?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2 years, 25. I mean, that's 12.5 a year. That's really bridge quarterbacky. I mean, last year you saw Taylor Heineke sign. I think he signed 10 like 2-3 years, 10 a year. And then you saw Stidham sign for like 10, I think it was like 5 or 10 a year. So that's right around the like bridge quarterback mentor type role money.
Okay, hold on. Brian Hoyer's not there anymore, right?
Nah, he's cut.
No, he's cut. Okay. And then you still got Jimmy on the books.
Jimmy's a post June
Okay.
cut.
Gotcha. All right. Was there anybody that you brought in a free agency you were not expecting?
I wasn't expecting Christian Wilkins.
That was Christian Wilkins.
I mean, especially with Renfro out the door, I just didn't expect it. I mean, we haven't had a D tackle close to that caliber since like Tommy Kelly and Richard Seymour.
Yeah.
So so that was a surprise, but I knew that we were going to be aggressive, but I didn't think we were going to be that aggressive. Especially as approaching the D tackle market. I mean, I know we signed a DN last year, then we saw the merger of Malcolm Coons, but I didn't expect a Christian Wilkins there. And also you could say Gardner Minshew. I know the Fields thing was kind of holding, the process up as far as like people trying to figure out who's going to do what as far as on the draft board. It was some talk about us possibly being interested in Fields, but I think the Bears said they just want to do right by him. And I think that the Steelers with the Fields just made perfect sense. But I think with Fields, even if we got Fields, it was still going to be a quarterback that had to compete with the rookie that we drafted. So with Minshew, I mean, it was a shocker, but I mean, I was good with it.
I will say
that
that
deep.
usually when I see teams taking big swings like that, it's usually a reach and an overreaction trying to catch up to us. I said it with J.C. Jackson when he signed that big deal with the Chargers.
Yeah.
But I actually think that Wilkins signing is a very solid signing.
Right.
Well, yeah, he's probably one of the best top 3, defensive tackles in the league. I mean, the dude's a monster. That defensive line is going to be nasty.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me right now with Kansas City. Um,
That was
that
disgusting.
left tackle situation is just does not feel good right now. So, I mean, we don't know what we're doing with that. I don't know if we're waiting until after the draft is to maybe bring back a veteran, but I mean, right now that left tackle spot scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So, especially with that defensive line, um, I'm not really worried about the Broncos defensive line. Chargers is going to charge her. They're going to charge her for at
Yeah.
least a couple more years
Mm.
until he gets. I think he's going to get that team situated right, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time. That roster is a mess right now.
Yeah, I said it before. Mike Mayock on paper with all of his ability to scout talent on paper through a TV screen sounded like a good hire at the time, but he set that team back 5 years. I think out of maybe 10 first-round picks, 5 of them were busts. And
Yeah.
I think most of them weren't even on the team a couple years later. How do you feel? Do you feel like you're just now
Oh man.
Chicken wire internet.
to recover
Yeah.
all those early picks that didn't succeed? I mean, you roster around those.
You cut out, Corey. So you
I
might
think I know. I think I know what you're trying to say. I feel like it did. I feel like it did set us back a little bit. I mean, because you have rosters that still have guys that are playing 10+ years, and when the guys you draft in the first 3 rounds, especially in the first round, are your cornerstone guys you're trying to groom. They can be on your roster for just more than one contract. So, I mean, when you look down the line, I mean, the Ruggs and Arnett's and the Cleveland Farrells, I mean, I think it was just like malpractice, in the front office and Mayock and Gruden. It's unnecessary reaches, and it's unfortunate that they're not on the roster, either cut, arrested, or they're just labeled bust and not labeled to the potential of where they were picked at. So, I mean, I think right now, I think last year, what that last regime was trying to do win now mode of the first year, and then they just realized that maybe we should kind of rebuild, and they try to do that the second year, add in depth. So I think this year, I think this regime is just with their experienced GM. I think they're making some solid moves just to try to like erase what happened in the past and just worry about the future.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your running back position right now?
I feel solid with it. I mean, I feel content. I mean, Josh Jacobs is a huge loss, but the way the running back market is, man, right now around the league, and then also the way that you can find running backs in late rounds. I mean, hell, y'all find Pacheco in the 7th round. I mean,
Right.
so like when you see running backs go that late and they had that much, I mean, Kyron Williams, they had that much production. I mean, it harms the running back market. I mean, why pay for a running back that's 27, 26 years old, had a major injury or 2 major injuries, been banged up? Why pay them 13 million, 12 million, $11 million when I can use that money elsewhere, give me a corner or two, or a lineman, and just draft me a running back. So now I'm content with the running back. I mean, we brought a doula back, signed Alexander Madison, and then also you had Zamir White. So
Yeah, if you're looking at 2 years ago, at the piece that they had, it looked like Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, and Darren Waller may have been cornerstone pieces for that team going forward, and now they're all gone.
yeah,
Like in the direction I thought they were going, they've kind of done a 180 and veered off a different direction.
yeah. I mean, you saw Darren Waller. I mean, he had his year where his breakout year. That he got signed, and then Renfro, he had his breakout years coming out. And he got paid, and he paid Derek Carr. Like, I guess their regime coming in, rookie GM, coach on his second stint. They're trying to get the same guys. They're trying to get their guys in, but then they're trying to keep guys on the roster that are their cornerstone players and do right by them. And it just didn't work out, man. You sign these guys 1 year, and then next year you cut them or trade them.
Do you feel like being a new regime, new GM, new coach, do you feel that there's going to be a little bit more pressure for them to go out and get their guy at QB instead of waiting to see what happens with O'Connell? And then if he fails, be like, oh, well, that was the past regime's guy and get our guy next year. Do you think they're going to be aggressive and try to get their guy the first year? Or do you think they may try to wait to see what they have in O'Connell?
Nah. I think it's pressure to get your guy. I think that's part of the reason why Telesco got hired. I mean, you want that experience in your GM position. Also, you want to understand from your front office, and also your owner, to like, hey, like, I brought you in because I thought you was the guy. Now I need you to go get our guy, for our franchise. So, with that, I think it's more so Mark Davis stepping in now and saying, like, we got to do something. Like, we got to get our guy. And then also that goes down from, the top all the way down to the head coach. They all have a same understanding. Like, hey, we got to get another guy. We got to get a rookie quarterback on our roster, first round rookie quarterback. So we don't know if we trade up and get that, or, we stay at 13 to make that pick.
Either way, it's going to be a good landing spot for a quarterback. He's going to have a nice safety blanket in Devontae Adams. Not a lot of rookie quarterbacks going to come in the league and have a guy like Devontae Adams be thrown to a little bit older. They're probably going to need to kind of revamp that wide receiver room with Renfro leaving. But I could see you guys going quarterback and then maybe wide receiver in the third round to give another weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. I mean, you still had Devontae playing at a high level. You had Jacoby Myers that had a great year.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah.
Well, Jacoby was good.
Yeah. Then you had Trey Tucker emerge as Hunter Renfro. His snaps decreased and Trey Tucker value stemmed up. So, and then also you drafted Michael Mayer last year, the tight end. So you had the pieces in place. I think we've had the pieces in place the last 3 years, but we just never made the move to get the quarterback. And I think now is the perfect time for us to get the quarterback because we do have the pieces, and also we can add to that. Like you said, I think they was explaining that they want to get faster. I mean, I think Trey Tucker is not enough. I think you might see us swing for a wide receiver, speedy wide receiver in the first 3 rounds after addressing that quarterback position.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that real quick. The NFL draft is this week. Man, I can't wait because I am so sick of waiting on this. Man.
I'm so sick.
Yeah, everybody is just like, we're done waiting. Can we just start it now? Like, so we're gonna pull up your draft picks here. I'm sure you already know your draft picks, but just in case the audience doesn't know what your draft picks are this year, what are you looking for in this draft, man?
Outside of quarterback.
Well, yeah, quarterback, I think everybody thinks that. I mean, you're picking 13, so I mean, what quarterback are you looking at getting? Are you trying to trade up? Are you waiting on one?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question.
I think we are the worst kept secret as far as who we want to take. You have speculation with all these teams, even Washington that too, but everybody knows who we want to get. I mean, because we've been loud about it the whole all season. So I think if we can't trade up, 2, 3, or even 4 if he's there, I highly doubt it. If you can't get Jaden Daniels between the 2 and 4 spot, then you'll look at possibly might still trading up. Probably like 3 spots, say to the Jets or to the Bears at 9, to lock in like a guy like Michael Penix. Or so, but my thing is that And also, I mean, can't rule out Bo Nix either. I mean, we brought him in for a top 30, and then we spoke to him, went to his Oregon Pro Day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the order.
Did you take Bo Nix in the first?
I would say, I think you have to get a quarterback in the first round because that 5th-year option means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you got to get a quarterback, in the first round regardless. But you do have your preferences. I mean, I have my preferences. So we know Caleb is a lock at 1.
Yeah.
But then you have Daniels, May, McCarthy, Penix, Nix. So my thing is that then you look into say, okay, so who did we visit? Who did we spend more time with at the combine, senior bowl? I mean, pro days, and those signs lead to Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. So I feel like that's the top. That's our top 3.
I just think with the quarterback room that they have, they can't try to wait it out and say, I hope one of them fall to us in the second round. I don't think any of them will fall mid-second round. I think there's enough quarterback-needy teams right now that people are going to reach for the Penixes and the Bo Nixes, and I think they're all gone by the end of the first round.
Yeah. I mean, if you think Michael Penix is going to be there in the second round, you're a damn fool.
I mean, there's always the quarterbacks that fall. There's always the ones that jump up.
Hey, I got an offer. I mean, you can trade up into the 32nd spot. Get that 32nd spot, the 5th-year option. Give us 44.
We would never do business with them.
Nah, y'all would never do business.
We would never do business with them.
Nah, I mean,
I'm a trade back merchant, man. At 32, I'm just like trade back every year. If you're gonna sit in
trade back, yeah.
Back.
I mean, that's a second round, basically a second round pick. I mean, get more picks.
Yeah,
but I mean, I mean, you see people say that Penix is a reach at 13 or just a reach in the early first round, in general. I'm like, bro, y'all got to get off of PFF. Y'all got to get off these mock drafts.
Yeah.
Right? You got to just think logically. Like you can name about 10 teams that either need a quarterback bad or may need one in the next year or two.
Yeah, I mean
you had the Saints with Derek Carr. You got the Rams with Matthew Stafford. I mean, you got the Seahawks. So, I mean, the list goes on.
Kansas City, I mean, everybody thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be a second-round talent, and we took him at the 10. So, I mean, if you find your guy that fits your system and you're in love with that quarterback, be damn all these PFF grades and all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Go get your quarterback.
Rob, Betty.
That 5th-year option is way too valuable. If you got a guy that you think that is gonna be your franchise guy, you got to take a shot and you got to go get him.
Right.
So. And I think all of those people that Whit just named off is probably going to turn out to be better than Aiden O'Connell and everybody else on that roster right now. So if you've got to spend a first round to upgrade, it's the quarterback. It's the most important position in football. Sometimes you got to overpay. Sometimes you got to reach to get your guy. But I think everyone that you listed is better than anything you have in your quarterback room right now. Maybe not one, but developmentally, it'll be an upgrade.
Right.
So how did you have them ranked with as far as who you wanted? You said Daniels.
So Daniels is I think is number 1 on the board, and then you go to Penix, and then you have Bo Nix.
Okay. Those are all realistic.
I like Penix.
Guys. You feel like
so you're not sold on May either.
I mean, personally, bro, I'm desperate. I need a quarterback. So like, I mean, I can roll with Drake May, bro. I'm thinking that we got to think as far as like the fit for the coach. Like, AP say he wants some dogs. Like he said, everybody's not a dog. Everybody's not meant to play for the Raiders. So, and I'm thinking of dogs. I'm thinking of okay, who's guys he played for? Who's guys he thinking are dogs? I mean, who do we think are dogs? Like, and then you got to read between the lines of like, Drake May. I mean, we didn't have everybody attend Drake May's pro day. We didn't have everybody attend JJ McCarthy's pro day, but we did have people attend Penix pro day, attend Nick's pro day, and then everybody in the Raiders organization was at LSU. So, yeah.
Well, see, I mean, we're used to Veach not doing that around here. He drafts guys that he doesn't visit. That's what he does to us.
Right.
So I mean, he'll have visits, and we're like, oh, I guess we're not drafting him.
Yeah. That happens in a whole bunch of the organizations besides y'all. I mean, you have guys that they pick that are not top 30 visits, and then you have guys that pick from their top 30 visits. So I mean, maybe the top 30 visits for some teams are just saying like, hey, I just want more information on this guy in case I want to get him a late round on draft free agent.
Yeah. So second round, third round, what you looking at? What's some of your favorite players in this draft do you think come in and make a big impact?
Man, I feel like this draft is like gold mine, man. Like first is your quarterback. I mean, if you trade up, you're probably not going to have a second round pick. So you're looking at your third pick. But let's just talk hypothetically, like if we had all the picks. So first round, get your quarterback. Second round, you will look to target either the tackle position or and then with the tackle position, I mean, you had guys like Kyran and Menagy, something like that from BYU, not BYU, but from Yale.
Yeah,
it's a good raw prospect. I like him.
He's on our list. Stay away.
Then you got Kingsley Sunamati from BYU.
See, I told you, DG. Witt knows what he's talking about, man. He's stealing our players.
We know.
Yeah. Panay Sewell's cousin.
Two tackles right there.
They're great tackles, man. I mean,
big tackles too.
Y'all need tackles too. I mean, but
he's been watching our show, Ross. He's trying to take our guys.
Yeah, those are our top two tackles that we want in the second round. So,
I mean, that's y'all. I mean, they could be there at 32. I mean, Kingsley. I mean,
we're going wide receiver at 32. If we don't trade back, we're going wide receiver for sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if we draft wide receiver that we said we don't want to see, I may not watch the rest of the draft.
If they get Troy Franklin, I'm turning the TV off. I'm not watching the rest of the draft. Damn straight.
DG might back up, cancel my hotel room, and head back home.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm good with that.
I mean, it's like tackles, bro. Like, I mean, you got Patrick Paul. His stock is rising up. He might be a first round lock now. Tyler Guyton.
How you feel about Morgan?
Morgan?
Yeah, you think he's a tackle or you think he's a left guard?
I think he could play both. I think his versatility. I think versatility is a plus in this league. Because I mean, linemen go down. I mean, all the time. So you want a guy you can plug and play. I mean, you want to have a guy that you play their known position. But then if it's something goes on, I mean, for y'all, say like a Trey Smith goes down or Joe Thuney goes down or Creed, you want to have a guy. You want to have a versatility in your locker room, so I can plug and play a guy and then put somebody in the right tackle or switch and swap. So I haven't watched too much film on Jordan Morgan, but he's solid.
He's got great tape.
Here's what I'll say about that. I love Jordan Morgan, but the Raiders already kind of reached on Alex Leatherwood, hoping they could convert him to a tackle, and I don't think he were. I think they were going to give him a shot at it. He had kind of the same metrics as him, but they both got shorter arms. It didn't work out, and I think did you guys move him to center or did you guys move him to guard?
No, he was guard. Moved him at guard, and that didn't work out, so we just cut him.
Yeah, so I don't think they will take a chance with some short arms as projected as a guard, trying to take him that early as a tackle. I think they'll go with more prototypical, because that Leatherwood pick burned a lot of Raiders fans.
What? I mean, we're talking about 44.
I think
44 wouldn't be that crazy.
I think it just depends. Yeah, I think it depends how the board falls, man. I mean, if you, I highly doubt he's going to be there at 44. But if you have a Peyton Wilson there at 44, you take that Peyton Wilson pick every time.
Yeah, I'd take Karan over Morgan, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just me. I like those guys.
Yeah. I mean, what's that, dude? You saying something?
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys kind of feel this way, but do you guys feel like a defensive back maybe a need in your
guys', I think it's a need, bro. I think he likes Terry Arnold a lot. I mean, you have Terry Arnold, Kool-Aid, Nate Wiggins, Quinyon Mitchell, I think goes early. Then you have Ronaldo Green. It's another guy like Elijah Jones from Boston College, 2-time first team All ACC. Who else, man? It's a lot I'm missing. TJ Tampa. Like, I mean, the list goes on, bro. But I think we do need a corner up on the opposite side of Jack Jones. But I think within that, I think they invest in the trenches in the offensive side. And you may get a corner in the mid rounds or even possibly address that in free agency. I mean, you got Dory, Xavier Howard out there. I mean, you got a ton of guys out there too. So,
to me, the only thing deeper than mid-round receivers in this draft is mid-round cornerbacks. You've got both those guys from Missouri, Rakestraw, and the other one, you've got that Kalen King. I really like Kalen King. And there's another one, I can't remember his name right now, but it's a very solid press man corner that is expected to go in the late second, early third round. Reminds me a lot of Snead. So
Cam Hart.
Not Max Melton, is it?
Max Melton?
I'd know it if I heard it. I'll see. I'll remember it right after we get off here. That's what I do every time. But this draft is really, really loaded with mid-round corners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's your biggest surprise in the first round? What do you think is going to happen?
As far as us, or just in general?
Just in general. Yeah, let's get.
I think Xavier Worthy goes in the teens, late teens, early 20s.
I can see that.
I can see that. This Texas boy over here, DG. So he wants all the Texas players going in the first round. Give me Sweat in the second.
I could typically see Worthy.
I need a tackle. Sorry.
You said what, Corey?
I could potentially see Worthy jumping Thomas.
And Brian Thomas? I've heard that. I've seen that.
I mean, Indianapolis needs speed. I mean, it's a lot of teams need speed.
I mean, I think DG, did you pick Brian Thomas coming to us?
Yeah, I traded up to 23 to go get him. Had to be a little bit overly aggressive, but more than I would probably like to. But to get a 6'2" X receiver, I'll take it. So
yeah. Yeah.
Live with the results.
So we're heading into this next season. I think the Raiders, in my opinion, are a quarterback away from really competing in the AFC West. What is your outlook with the Raiders going into this next season? What do you think that you guys are going to have to do to get over the hump and get past Kansas City in the AFC West? Because this is now what, year 8?
8?
DG? Is it 8 for us?
Yeah.
8 in a row?
It's 8 for y'all, 8. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just took over the lead for the most division titles because we were all tied. I don't know if you knew that, but we were all tied.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it took us 7 years to catch up. So, with Pat. So, what do you think about this next season? What's your short outlook here, pre-draft?
I mean, I haven't made. I mean, I know DJ, we run space all the time, bro. You hear egregious takes, bro. But I think that it's crazy, bro. I think we got to see if we get a quarterback. I think quarterback sets the tone for the outlook of the season. You get to a quarterback, and now we can start talking about, okay, we can be a playoff team, and then we could after that win games and win division stuff like that. So I think playoff. I mean, get your quarterback, address the trenches, shore up your depth, and I think things are looking up. But I think the main thing is you got to land your quarterback. You got to get your guy, and that follows. Everything else after that follows.
Yeah. I don't know about DG or Corey here, but in my opinion, I think this is going to be a 2-horse race season. It's going to be Kansas City and it's going to be the Raiders. The Chargers just have too much. I think they're going to be a better team as far as schematically and how organized they are. I think the quarterback. I think Herbert's going to be a way better quarterback.
Yeah,
with that coach. So I mean, The Broncos, I'm just not kind of sure what they're doing because they've just redone so much of that
They're a
roster.
mess.
They're a mess right now. We don't know what they're doing, the stability with that roster, and they got a lot of money they're paying a quarterback to play, up in for Steelers. So I mean, we don't know what they're doing. So honestly, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a 2-horse race. I think if you guys come out and you nail the first 2 games, you get the 2 first games out of the way with a dub, I think you guys are going to be hot and you guys are going to be motivated, and that coach is just going to light a fire under that team. But I think you're right. It's what quarterback you guys get. That's going to be the most important part. I think Minshew can start the season for you guys and be a motivator and do the right things, and then you let that young quarterback kind of develop, whoever you guys get, and then bring him in later in the season. Or if it's going right, leave Minshew in there, and you do the same thing we did with Pat, right? And bring him in the next year. So, man, it's going to be an exciting season. I've got a buddy who's a Raiders fan, and he's giving me crap all the time. He wouldn't even talk to me after the Super Bowl. We went 2 weeks without him saying a word to me. So I mean, he was so pissed off that all went down, but he's gotten over it now. Corey, you got anything else?
No, that's about it. I'm just ready for the draft. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
I've kind of got. I've kind of got directions that kind of everybody in the AFC West is going to go. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if my intuition is right on it.
Yeah. What you doing for the draft, Whit?
Be sitting on the couch, man, like I do every year, sweating.
Yeah.
Right.
So
when you get that first round quarterback, man, you're going to jump out of your seat. I did. I mean, I was excited about Pat. I actually thought we were going to go the opposite way, and we were going to get what's
Watson.
his face? Watson. Thank you. I thought the pick was to be Watson.
I didn't think we was getting a quarterback at all.
You didn't?
That shocked the hell out of me.
When I saw them trade up, I knew it was going to be a quarterback. But I'm not going to lie, though. I had to go look at Patrick Mahomes when we drafted him. I was like, okay, well, I mean, if this is who you want and you just traded up to get him at 10, I guess there's a reason. So, DG, you got anything else?
Nah, man. I think my biggest prediction in all this is that I see it being Michael Penix. I feel like I don't know, man. He embodies
left-handed quarterback going to the Raiders,
and he just embodies what a Raider quarterback to me just should look like and should be. And I just feel like him and AP's chemistry would hit it off probably at the start of everything. So that's kind of who I feel like they might end up taking, whether that be first round or second round or whatever if he falls. But
who was the last greatest left-handed quarterback we've seen play? It's been a minute.
Michael Vick.
Was it Michael Vick? Oh yeah, it was Michael Vick. Michael Vick, and then Steve Young before that.
And the guys, I don't know, man.
There hasn't been a lot of
Vick is the biggest one that I know.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up I didn't get to watch Steve Young like that, so.
No, well, sorry. It was fun to watch him play.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. Old head. I wouldn't mind seeing a left-handed quarterback go to the Raiders. That'd be fun. Listen, I'm all about the competition. I'm not one of those fans that's like, oh, screw the Raiders and the Chargers and Broncos. Like, I want to see competition. I mean, that's something that we mentioned with the Tom Brady era, is that Tom Brady mentioned it before. I've said this many times. The reason why that division was always his division was because the rest of the division never had any stability in the front office. They never had any stability in the coaching staff, and they kept chasing after this perfection to match Brady, and they never could do it. Right. I think the Raiders finally have some stability in the front office. They got to stick with it. I think the Chargers with this coaching hire has some stability now with the coach in general. I think they're going to give him a good amount of time to get that right. And then, of course, the wild card is the Broncos and how much they're going to give him, how much time they're going to give him, because he's tearing apart that whole roster right now and rebuilding it. So whoever gets that stability in their front office and the coaching staff is going to be able to start competing with Kansas City, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're going to close it down now. That's going to end the series of AFC West rivals with the Raiders. And I did that on purpose because I thought the Raiders were going to be the team that's going to compete with us the most this year. So Heading into the draft week, we got Keenan Cast has got some big plans. Be on the lookout for your Twitter page this week because we've got some big news coming out for a draft party for this week. So be on the lookout for that. And then we got Tell the Truth on Wednesday. DG, what time's that?
Yeah, probably 8:30, I believe, and I think we'll be doing our last final thoughts on the draft.
Okay.
Some other stuff like that. I think DMAC has something planned, but I forgot what it was already. So, yeah, so
we'll get the promo. We'll get the promo out for that. And then of course you got the OG show on Thursday night, Kingdom Cast with Country and Chuck. So Whit, you got any promos you want to throw out there, man?
Man, I mean, we're gonna start back doing spaces. Probably draft night after the draft. I mean, that's pretty much it. Nothing really much going for me. I mean, I'm in spaces, just talking ball. So, I mean, if y'all have spaces, man, feel free to invite me. We can just talk ball.
Make sure you guys
follow
Whit. Yeah, follow Whit here for the Raiders. He's a good guy. He's going to talk good ball with you. He's not going to do any nonsense with you. So, at Whitville,
unless you want him to.
Oh yes, you want? Yeah, don't bug it. Like all the guys we've had on here, like you go be a dumbass. We'll show you a dumbass. So anyway, man, I appreciate you. Good luck in the draft. Not so much in the season, but number 2's all right.
Yeah,
all right. Wild card spot with wild card.
Yeah, wild card. Start with the wild card.
Man, you're shooting for one, man.
Shooting for one. Oh shit! All right, man. I'm gonna have to hit you up mid-season. We'll do a mid-season review of the AFC West and see what's going on.
All
right, man. I appreciate you coming on with this, man. I'll hit you up in the spaces sometime, man. Appreciate you.
Man. Appreciate y'all.
DG, love you. Corey, love you, man.
Yes, sir.
Everybody out there, be good to each other. We'll holler at you later.
All right.